Yeah, it's me again. This is Nana Chat. Let's talk personal statements. 5% of lawyers are black. Ground. It is okay for you to open up and swallow me now. I wanted to die. Is my padfolio. You see it? You see it? The judge was yelling, the prosecution was yelling, the defense was yelling, like everybody was yelling.
My story, mom.
Alright, hello everybody. So I've gotten a few requests to do a video about personal statements for your applications for law school. First of all, I recently found my personal statement and remembered that I have to do this video. And reading over it, let me just tell y'all, the substance was good, the writing was not. Like, after being in law school for like a year and a half, I've realized that, like, bruh, my writing was trash. Anyway, so I'm gonna talk to you guys a little bit about personal statements. A personal statement is really personal to you and who you are. So all I can really do is give you some tips and some tricks and a little bit of advice, and then you can go on from there, talking about you and who you are and why you want to go to law school and why they should pick you. You feel me? All right. Let's get into it. First of all, like I was saying previously, a personal statement is more about you, who you are, what you've been through, why you want to go to law school, what your career goals are, stuff like that. The reason why schools often ask for a personal statement is because they probably have a lot more people that meet the median GPA and the median LSAT score that apply to their school than they can accept. You get what I'm saying? So if they can accept 10 people and they have 40 applicants, all who have the proper GPA to get in and the proper LSAT score, then obviously they're going to need to know something more. I know some schools did interviews or do interviews. I don't know if they still do interviews to get into law school, but what a lot of people do now in lieu of an interview is a personal statement. So they want to know what makes you unique. So why do you want to be in law school? What has gone on in your past that kind of highlights who you are or has led you in the path to go to law school? So first thing, before you even start writing that personal statement, is thinking about who you are. Now, I know that is mad difficult. When you go into an interview and they're like, so tell me about yourself. If you haven't prepared for the interview, you're like, dang, do I know who I am? Like, it's so hard to talk about yourself sometimes, unless you think about yourself all the time. But for somebody like me, it's hard to talk about myself and tell people about myself.
I am brave. I am strong.
I can't do that. It's too difficult for me. So I really have to prepare, sit down and write. So that's what I'm going to tell you to do before you even start like writing your personal statement, is to think about who you are, right? Now, when you're writing a personal statement, you want to be specific. You want to have a thesis. You want to have a topic sentence or something that your whole paper is based on. That thesis or topic sentence or, you know, specific point that you want to emphasize is going to come from you thinking prior to writing a personal statement about what exactly it is that you want to highlight about yourself. You can talk about something that you've overcome in life. You can talk about maybe a club or extracurricular or something like that. Something cultural that's unique to you. Different things that kind of have shaped who you are at this point in your life or shaped your reasoning for going to law school. Also, in personal statements, they really do like to see a sense of determination, motivation, being able to overcome obstacles, work ethic, tell a story. In that story, highlight all the positive things about you. You also want to think about your long-term and your short-term career goals. So I know when you're going into law school, you're like, do I have long-term and short-term career goals? Like, what the hell? I'm just trying to get into law school. But some people might, and maybe even if you don't, it's time to sit down and think about it a little bit. Now, this is not saying that as you're in law school, that can't change. It will definitely change. Mine has changed. But at least going in, it's good to have an idea or show them that you have an idea of where you'd like to go or what you'd like to do with your law school career. In the next 5 years, what kind of firm would you like to work at? What area of law most interests you and why? Let it all go back to the thesis. It's good to, like I said, sit down and brainstorm all that stuff that I mentioned before, but right after you brainstorm it and write it out and you kind of have a thesis and you kind of know where you want to go with the letter or with the personal statement, then type your thesis into a Word document and just start typing. Right? You know what story you want to tell, you know what experiences you want to highlight or what parts of your personality you want to highlight that would make you stand out to the people who are reading your personal statement. Start writing, just write. Now, the thing with these personal statements is that I know some schools have a word limit, a word count limit, or a page limit. So you obviously cannot write your whole life story into these personal statements, nor do they want to read your whole life story because they have so many personal statements to read. But for the first draft, because there need to be multiple drafts of this personal statement, for the first draft, it's okay to just sit. You've thought about your thesis statement, you've thought about the experiences in your past, your extracurricular activities, or something that you've overcome. You've thought about the aspects of yourself that you would like to highlight. Now sit down and just type it all out. Sometimes we don't know where to start, but as soon as we start typing, our mind is like, oh, okay, and I can go here, and I can go there, and I can go there. So that's good. Just type it all out. And obviously that's just the first draft, first revision. And you're going to need time, maybe leave that for a day or two and come back to it, read over it, and see what you can pull out from that for your second draft and what you want to kind of throw in the garbage and leave behind. Then we get to the attention grabber first sentence, right? So it's really hard sometimes to pick an attention grabber first sentence because you don't really know what grabs people's attention. So let me just give y'all an example of my attention grabber first sentence. Sometimes people use quotes, but my first sentence was, "To the best of my knowledge, my desire to become an attorney began around age 11. Now, I don't know if you think that really grabs your attention, but I think somebody who's reading that might look at that and be like, 11, that's a really young age to know that you want to be an attorney. Why, right? Or like, what's the story behind you knowing you wanted to be an attorney at the age of 11? Some people use their thesis sentence as their first sentence, or they'll put it at the end of their first paragraph. But if you really feel like you can say something in the first sentence that will grab somebody's attention or help them to want to know more about you, even if it's just a quote, then that's something really good that you should definitely do. Make sure you have that attention grabber first sentence. Another tip that I would have is to research the school. So a lot of the times people just like go on LSAC, right, which is the place where you can apply to all the different law schools that you want to apply to, and just put in applications for a whole bunch of different schools, right? You should definitely read either the school's personal statement. If you're interviewing for a job, like I usually do, I read the job's personal statement, and then whatever they have in their personal statement, if it resonates with me, then I can transform that into answers during the interview. So if you're writing a personal statement, yes, it's about yourself, but it's also about why you would be a great fit for that school. And look at their social media. What's the running theme? Incorporate that into your story. And then the last thing I would say about your personal statement is taking time out to read and revise multiple times. We are not writing a first and second and sending. No. Like, make sure that you're doing this ahead of time so that you can have weeks if you need weeks. Make sure you're taking a lot of time to read and revise. Don't put too many words. Don't try to be too, verbose and use like all these big words that you may not understand and may be using incorrectly. Just be yourself. Tell your story, but also write in a way that is clear, that is chronological. Remember, you're telling a story. You want this to be enjoyable for somebody to read. Now, I probably should have said this in the beginning, but make sure that before you even start thinking about yourself and all the stuff I told you to think about and brainstorm in the beginning, look at the school's guidelines, right? Like, what do they want? Some schools have an actual question that they want you to answer. Other schools don't have a question. So look at the school's guidelines. Make sure you're following what that school has set out that they want to see or hear or read from you, so that you're not just out here sending your personal statement that was okay for this school to another school. So that's basically all I have for you guys today. As long as you really highlight your strengths in your personal statement and don't be afraid to humbly brag on yourself, you can do it. It's your story. They just want to know about you. They want to know about what makes you special, what makes you unique. And if you don't know that you're special and unique, I'm telling you right now, you're special and unique. It's all about you. So the only advice I can give is the advice given in this video. And maybe I'll find some links and put them in the description box as well to give you some extra advice. So thank you so much for being here. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll talk to y'all next time.